Boom, boom, boom. My hair is just not staying down. I brushed it back. It it's not working. Okay, so I got today's two videos ready to go. Tomorrow might be tight, but we will see what happens. Some other shit might be happening tomorrow. I'm going to be doing an early stream. So I'm not going to stay up super duper late tonight. Like, stream's going to end at 10 or 11 tonight. Because I got to do an early stream tomorrow. I got a buddy coming over in the afternoon to teach us, me and another friend, some boxing. Got some straps and everything for that. That way I can, be Yanwu from Wuthering Waves. What a cool cosplay that would be. Wait a minute. Ooh, okay. That could be kind of fun. And then my like family poker league that we do in the evenings every third Thursday. So I will be busy with that as well. So tomorrow's stream is definitely going to be early. Like, I might not get a shit ton of sleep. Well, no, I'm going to try to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to try to wake up at 8 and be live by 9. So I get 3 or 4 hours of sleep. You guys might see my bed head. Because I don't think I'm going to shower before I box. So we will see what happens. I should just, Oh, I look kind of crazy. Maybe I should have left it brushed. I'll keep the sides tight. Other side, right here. Not too bad. Not too bad. So I'm just gonna do this. Looks pretty normal. Maybe I have a bigger forehead than usual today, but oh well. Back at it again. There's gonna be a new event too, which I'm hyped for. And I'm gonna farm a little bit more off of the double drop. I have plenty of the metallic shenanigans, I think. I think. So I'm trying to think here. Do I need to farm that or not today still? I gotta check, I suppose. Because Rover also likes them, and my Rover's really, really strong right now. And totally worth using. Bonk! iRover's very, very strong. Holy shite. Overlord, wave plates. So wants me to farm bosses today. I can do that. I think probably wouldn't hurt to farm for Jinshi at this point, right? Do I do Jinshi to 80, Yinlin to 80, or Gion to 80 is the question. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely certain. Wu was still having no audio. There we go. Hmm. Absorbent Echo and fight a boss gets me up and then spend a wave plate. So that's all I need to worry about today. Let's see, how many goops do I have? Because I know I need a whole bunch. Cool, I've got 10 of those. Okay, I've got 18 gold. Let's see. How many do I need? Build planner right here. The rings are not going to be a problem. I can farm them day of. It's not going to be an issue. I need 32 golds. And I'm at 18 golds. Ouch. A lot of it being the weapon. Oh, that's to level 81. To level 80, I only need 20. Okay, never mind. I'm so chill. I'm so chill. Next thing. Well, hold on. If I bring that to 10. Woo, that's a jump. I just need more of the goops. I just need more of the goops. I got 33 of these. I have 68 blues. And 73 greens. So I'm down on purples and I'm down on golds. And honestly, I should probably just go farm those the 3 times today. And then a Overlord boss I can fight. I also need to fight Jue and get his drops 3 times this week, but I don't I'm not gonna do that today. I'll do that tomorrow. I feel like I'm stuttering more since I turned the like AI frame sampling back on. Am I tripping? I feel like maybe I don't need the super resolution on at all. I might just be fine without it on. Because it's frame generation with the AI shit, but I have a 3060 like Ti. So it doesn't, I'm not sure my graphics card even really does that. Hmm. $43,000? Nice. That's kind of spicy. For that only being like maybe 30% of her damage output, that's pretty damn good. I don't even care. Blast. Yeah, this is definitely my best DPS overall right now. Her damage output is phenomenal. Blast. Dude, the fact that it hits her skill hits 2 times and each crit for like 9,000 damage is insane. It's a lot of damage, man. It's a lot of damage. Let's see. If I brought this down to 6, what does that change? That just changes the purples. It's like a 10 purple change, though. Because my thought process is I just leave basics at level 1 and leave her skill lower level 2. Although I'm not certain if her skill is like the true sights are in her forte or her skill. I could finagle more golds later on. Okay, let's see. How many of these do I need total? I need 21. 7 times 3 is 21. Yep, that leaves 21. Looks good. Cool. So, 21 of those. How many blues do I need to keep? 26. That would be 27. Yep. And then how many purples do I need to keep? 45. $45. Okay, it stays 45 no matter what level I bring her Forte Circuit up to. So that's 30. That's 45. 46 pretty much, because 76. 70, 76. Yes, sir. Like 10 more golds. We're left with 46 purples and 10 more of the gold ones, which puts us at 28. Which ain't enough for shit, really, but it is close enough. Now, what boss can I fight real quick? Probably this dude. Why not? So she's ready. Oh boy, she's ready. I'm so excited for Chain Lee to come out. It's not even funny. Good evening. How you doing? Like 4 or 5 days or something like that. She's really close right now. Blast. The thing I like about Rover is her entire kit is very consistent damage output. Yeah, Chainley should be like 4 or 5 days, which is why I have my video going up in about an hour. I needed to get it up before she comes out, or else I would have gotten in trouble. Ew. Attack percent. Gross. Gross. I should have a whole bunch of weeklies to do as well. Let's see. Just 2 more echoes. 2 more tacit fields. I can do that today. Beat 4 more bosses. Complete 1 more weekly challenge. Just fine. I'll just go do that. And then use 10 consumables. Not gather. Got you. Okay. That's easy enough. So just fight a bunch of bosses. And tacit fields. What was the tacit field I was I was farming one of these. I need an arrow piece for Gion. I need a spectra piece for Jinshi. Suppose we'll go do Jinshi. She's closest to being super OP in comparison to some of my other characters. Gion's weapon is kind of just Jinshi's weapon right now. He's really far behind. Then go here, and then we go into her. Oh my god, 4,500 damage crits on the plunge attack is ridiculous. So, got 6 or 7 of 10s of pulls for now. Haven't really grinded Wua during your trip. Just trying to process HSR's story for some events. Do some progress on ZZ. That's quite a lot of work. Yeah, ZZ progress is brutal. It is brutal for sure. Ooh, arrow damage on Spectro Piece. Glacio on Spectro Piece. Gotta love to see it, right? Glacio damage on attack piece. I still don't think ain't worth a shit either. Nice. Yeah, I've got her pre-farmed. That's all I've done. Like my account's really weak compared to most other people that have like played as much as me at this point, just because all I've done is prepare for Changli for like the past month. So much damage. Oh my god. Okay, please give me a piece for Jinshi. I don't want to keep farming this spot. Okay, attack Spectro piece. That's good. Defense attack. Fusion damage attack. Glacio Spectro. Son of bitch. Son of bitch. 'Tis fine. Let's see, because then that was that, and then the other one, I need to use 10 consumables, do another weekly challenge, which I thought I just did. Defeat Overlord class enemies 5 times, tune more echoes. I can tune the echoes, that's easy, but weekly challenge, huh? Weekly challenge. What is that? You. Okay, you're kind of good. I'm gonna roll that, I think, on Jinshi. She needs a better piece. Electro, Moonlit, that's fine. Electro, Moonlit, that's fine. Cool. Hmm. Crit damage, skill, basic defense, heavy. Yeah, no, we're gonna do this. I have not echomanced the her boss piece yet, so we will see what comes from this. That's a good piece. I'm gonna keep that. Oh, it stings. I just practically used all the XP I just farmed up. Ugh. Okay, we will wait till the 7th minute for this. I did not get a 3-cost piece on set. Because I probably will never, straight up. And then this piece, HP skill damage bonus. I want to see one more level. I have to see one more level, and I just can't do it. I don't have the XP. Okay, so Jue is gonna get rolled. He's on pieces right now. This piece could get rolled. Up to plus 10. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so double crit value would be very awesome. And then lots of all the stats on this one. And we'll wait for the 7th minute because it is just better. And even if it doesn't exist, again, I got to throw that out there. Even if it isn't real, doesn't hurt to wait. Patience is virtue. And I want to see it happen. I want to see it work for me because it's worked so well. So many people. So many people are telling me to build Changli on a Moonlit set, and I think that they're absolutely crazy because Changli's a main DPS, not a sub DPS, and they're stupid. She's a dual DPS at the very least with her outro, but I do not believe, even for a minute, that she's not going to be like the best main DPS in the game when she comes out. I'm so excited for her to come out. Oh my god. It's like I want to pull and build pity on Jinshi. Because if I miss 50-50, easy Changli. If I don't miss 50-50, S1 Jinshi's pretty damn good. Right? But I do fear pulling S1 Jinshi because it means I might lose 50-50 on Changli. I'm hoping Changli has the same thing happen as Yinlin, and I bullshit my way to S2. If I can get lucky enough to get S2, that's insane. If I can get lucky enough to get like S6 off of $200 maybe, oh boy. Oh boy, because I got her weapon in like 30 pulls. And I'm gonna wait for her weapon only because Emerald of Genesis is actually proven so good that they've had to buff the weapon repeatedly now. Her own personal weapon. So I'll see if I even need to get that yet. Because I could wait on her weapon, honestly. With Emerald of Genesis's existence, I could wait. But, within 200 bucks, if I could get lucky enough to get her S6, that's nuts. But S2 is my goal. If I get S2 and then get her weapon, I'm done. I'm not going to pull on her anymore. Like, I'll pull on her banner. Probably. Build pity, you know, wink, wink. But, Jeji's coming soon, so I'm excited for her, too. Dolphin Dreams. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If I spend 200 bucks and Changli makes me 5 videos that each pull 10,000 views apiece, when I triple my money, it's a time-gated infinite money glitch. Dupe from exchange? Yeah. Well, hey, if I have almost all the I have almost everyone S6. It's a 4-star. So theoretically, I could get enough to get a dupe. If I pull just enough 4-stars. Not weapons. 4-star weapons suck ass to pull, but characters. Which I'm guaranteed for it to be a character every 10 pulls. If I get a bunch of extra rolls, if I get a bunch of extra 4-star characters in my pulling, I could, because I get, what, 8 per? Oh, I need 360. 8 times 4 is 36. I'd have to do 40. I'd get 40 4-stars. Yikes. Okay, let's see. Hit the 27th minute and roll. Flat attack. Energy regen's kind of nice. Bunch of bullshit. Gross. Oh well, it's just about as good as her old one, honestly. I wasn't expecting much of anything. And then we can try this. We can try this. I'm sorry, Echomancy. It's real. I have like a 50-50 hit rate on double crit. This piece is beautiful. It's my Felicissimo, my friend. Oh my god. I can't say that it's bullshit. I want to say it's bullshit. All my videos, I'm like, I think it's bullshit, but it kind of works, so why not? This is why not. Every goddamn time. I have a 50% chance of getting this on the 7th minute, and it is 0 any other time. Wow, that made my Gion a lot better. His crit rate's a lot better. Whew. Yeah. Nice thing with Changli's, you don't need her weapon. The Emerald of Genesis, it's the same thing, but crit rate, so you'd have to get a crit damage boss piece is all. She likes the energy regen. When her skill is cast, she gains attack up to 2 times, which she can just literally use her skill twice in quick succession. This weapon is actually just almost as good as her normal sword, that like her banner weapon. The difference being is that she just got some buffs, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, that kind of changed that to widen the gap a bit, because actually the Emerald of Genesis is a broken ass weapon. This weapon is so good. And this Echo's so good. I'm so happy with this. If it rolls heavy damage, I'm so happy. Early build with bad echoes, low crit. Wouldn't Genesis be better till getting proper echoes? No. No, not at all. Because the way that the swords work, Emerald of Genesis and ignoring this passive completely, Emerald of Genesis and Blazing Brilliance, or whatever the hell it's called, are the same sword, but one's crit rate, one's crit damage. So the only difference you do is if you use this, you do a crit damage boss piece. If you do her limited weapon, her signature, you do a crit damage or crit rate boss piece, because it's a crit damage main stat, right? Changes pretty much nothing. Like technically you get a bit more crit rate from this, but the crit damage you gain from the weapon, because the weapons are ever so slightly higher than the echoes, right? Echo maxes out at 22% crit rate. This will go up to like 25%, something 24, I think. Yeah, 24%. And then instead of what is 44% for a crit damage weapon, it will go up to, I think, a little closer to 48 instead of 44%. It is still better. It is still better. If you have Genesis, it depends on how badly you want her weapon just because you like her and her weapon, because this is very close. It's like 10% of a damage difference at the moment. It's like actually the closest signature weapon to, or the closest standard banner weapon to a signature weapon we've had so far. It's very, very close. It's still better to get the Blazing Brilliance or whatever for her because of the 56% goddamn skill damage bonus, but it's not like it's not life or death. This is still very good. And the energy regen's nice. Now, that being said, just build better echoes and really hyper focus her echoes. I mean, it took me a while to get the echo set I have right now for her. But like I got lucky with this. It's literally everything she wants, but I wish the defense was skill damage, which again, apparently there's going to be a skill stat reroller, substat reroller at some point in the future maybe. So I could perfect this, but crit rate, energy regen, crit damage, ult damage bonus, great piece. This one also I believe rolled no, it was this one that I had rolled before doing like the echomancy, crit damage, defense, basic attack damage, and crit rate. So like this one's chill. You know, I got lucky with this one, but then I started doing the echomancy and I shit you not back to back to back. I mean, skill, attack, crit rate. I'd love this to roll crit damage. Crit rate, skill, flat attack, beautiful piece. And crit rate with crit damage and a shit like max roll crit rate and skill damage. So this piece is beautiful as well. It's like, it took me like 2 weeks. Could have been faster, but I was farming like a bunch of her boss materials and stuff too to send her up during that time. So people quite often forget that crit stats are codependent. The more you have a one stat, the better gets the other. And to do the stats properly, you should do some calculations to settle on whether the other is better. Yes, it is typically best to have a 1-to-2 ratio. So if you have 50% crit rate, 100% crit damage. This being on top of the base 5% crit rate and 150% crit damage, I should mention. So like for my encore, no crit weapon. My stats are 70 essentially to 50. I've got way more crit rate than I do crit damage, but crit damage weapon from Chang Li's banner is going to be another 46%, which brings it close to 100. So it's like 70, 100. And two like solid crit damage rolls around here could be good. This could roll crit rate still. This could still roll crit rate, right? So I could get close. The other thing though too is, if I get her S2, her crit rate's 99.9%. And there is a chance I roll one of my echoes and like change it out for a different one if it's got like a lower crit rate roll, like this one. Although this is a 3-cost piece, probably not this one. This one, I could see myself re-rolling this piece to have like a 7.6% crit rate to get to that 100% if I do get her S2. If not, she's sitting very, very strong. But yes, crit stats are definitely codependent. Like this is much better. I'm at 56%. So I should be at about 110% extra crit damage from 150%. I'm not quite there, but I'm close, you know. Crit damage is also, it's like because you start at 150%, it is harder to get like, the difference is much bigger because you have the you get so much more crit rate in this game, I feel like, than in like Genshin and other games similar. You get some characters just have crit rate built into their kit. I mean, she literally at S6, which is free, gets 25% more crit rate. I like consistency personally as well, especially for character like this character's fine to be like 50 to 50, right? for her stats, and she's not done rolling either. I should mention she's I could get, oh well, first of all, this will add another 8% crit damage here. This could also roll crit damage. This beautiful piece. This piece needs replaced for more crit rate and some crit damage, and then this piece needs rolled, and this piece is good. So I've got like 2 more pieces on her that could be rolled too, but do you have an exact formula to calculate that? And do you know any other formulas that could help achieving important breakpoints or stat proportions? So typically, in almost every single scenario, you want a 1-to-2 ratio for crit rate, crit damage. In this video material. Thank you. I could go over that possibly here. I could get some numbers. And pull up some calcs. It would just take me a little bit. That might be something I save for like tomorrow morning. But to answer your question, it's almost always you want a 1-to-2 ratio. Because if you crit 50% of the time for double damage, right? That is a good rate. If you crit 100% of the time for only a 1.5 times damage boost, technically it's less. Yeah, no, I dig the numbers. I'll totally do that. I'll add it to my list right now of videos I gotta get done. Let's see, Wuthering Waves. I've got another numbers one too coming out soon. So, cool, added that one. But you almost always want a 1-to-2 ratio because the damage boost you get for the slightly less consistency is worth it. Now, if you had 100% crit rate and did 1.5 times damage, or you only crit half the time for double damage, you can think about it as an instance of I deal 10 hits that all deal 100 damage. If I crit all of them for 1.5 times damage, that is going to be, instead of 1,000, 1,500. If I crit half of them and they go up to 200 damage, so I get 500 and 1,000 is 1,500, right? So it's the same there, right? It is technically the same damage. The problem is getting 100% crit rate is fucking impossible. It's so hard to achieve in games like this that you can't just go a 2-to-1 ratio because it is that hard to attain without weapons and also sequences. So you go for a 1-to-2 ratio because that is technically the most min-maxed. Because let's say 3/4 of your hits, we'll put it right in the middle. 3/4 of the hits, you do 1.75 times damage. Right in between the two. That means for 7, we'll round to about 7 hits out of 10. You are doing, instead of 100, you're doing 175. So you have 300, 700, and 75 times 7 would be 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 7 is 49. 525 damage plus 1,000 is going to be 1,525, right? 75% of the time you crit for 1.75 times damage, but again, it's hard to get that much crit rate. And you're going to have more crit damage than that at that point. So it's like, technically the thing that offsets it, like if you had 0% and 0%, it's different. But because we start with 150% crit damage, so we're already at that 1.5 times damage, right? It's the difference between, okay. Math. It is the difference between you crit half the time for double damage or you crit all the time for 2.5 times damage, right? So we'll do it this way. Critting half the time for double damage is going to be 500 and 1,000, that's 1,500 damage. Critting all the time for 2.5 times damage is going to be, albeit fucking impossible, basically. It is going to be All the time. No, it should be all the time for double damage. Half the time for. Yes. Calculating this wrong. Half the time you are critting for 2.5 times damage. So that is 500 as well as 250 times 5, which is 2,500 divided by 2, 1,250 plus 500 is 1,750 damage, right? If you crit half the time for 200% crit damage, which is 50% crit damage, 50% crit rate. Now, if you had 50% crit rate and 100% crit damage, so it's instead of the, no, I'm sorry, that was at 100%. 1,750 damage would be a 50 to 250. Yes. So that is essentially min-maxed. You could go to 100 crit rate, say, and do a 2-to-1 ratio, and it should be the same thing. So I have 100% crit rate, and I'm only getting 50 crit damage, so it's doubled. So 100% crit, 100 damage, it's all doubled, 200 damage. Technically, it'd be 2,000. That is more damage output, but it's too hard to get that crit rate. So you have to think about it as being 0 crit damage because you start at that 150% crit damage. So it is 1,500, right? For a technical 2-to-1 ratio, it's like 1,500. For a 1-to-2 ratio of you're getting 50% crit rate to gaining like 100% crit or 50% more crit damage. So a total, it's, 100%. It is, you crit half the time, doubling that. So it's 1,500 as well. So that's the thing. 1-to-2 and 2-to-1's the same. 2-to-1's damn near impossible to get to. You want to aim for 1-to-2. If you had like 75% crit rate, right? You would want how much crit damage? Let's see. 75% crit rate would want 150% crit damage, which would put you at effectively 250%. So you need 100% crit damage stats with 75% crit rate, which is very, very hard to get, right? It is very hard to get 250% crit damage and 75% crit rate. But it is like the most min-maxed you can get before you start falling off. Like that is the aim for most characters in this game. It's probably around 75% crit rate, 250% crit damage. If you can get to that point, you are so chill. But that's going to be, a lot of damage. Obviously, the higher your numbers are while staying to a 1-to-2 ratio, it's better. If you pick a midpoint, like say 75, 250, and you lower crit rate and raise crit damage so that the ratio is the same, or not the same, the ratio changes, but it's the same like progression. You lose a percent crit rate, you gain 2% crit damage because that's the crit value of a character. You start losing damage. And same with the other way, more crit rate, less crit damage, you start losing damage. Very marginally, but it does matter over time. Changli will be capped though. Havoc Rover will be capped though. I mean, there's a handful of characters in this game that will be capped, and there's a few characters that are different. I like 100% crit rate on Jinchi because when she uses her skill, if she does not fucking crit, I lose my mind. And the whole rotation doesn't have as much damage as her hit, so my damage is like halved at least if she is not critting, which is why I was on a 44111 build. The only problem is if I'm not guaranteed critting on 44111, if I don't crit, it's even worse. And I wasn't guaranteed critting. So I'm just, because substats, right? And if I'm just going to roll good substats, I'm just going to roll her up to 75% crit rate off of substats with like 250% crit damage, which is that like you want to aim 4%, and 1 out of every 4 skills are going to not crit essentially, which is fine because at 100,000 damage times 350,000 damage, because the one non-crit or so, 330,000 damage, instead of what she was doing, which was like 70,000 damage times what would essentially have been 4, would be only 280,000. You still technically more damage doing a 43311 for her, but she likes critting a lot. She's like Eula a little bit in Genshin. Another character that likes critting basically every goddamn hit is Taoshi. For her ult, although her ult sadly does not scale very high. Even though her defense stat can be astronomically high, like in the 3000s, close to 4,000 even if you wanted to, and after buffs even further. She really likes critting her ult. This is 70% crit rate technically, and she's like not even built fully particularly, and her crit damage is like, if I wanted to build her, I could build her to where she's 80% crit rate, 200 or so percent crit damage, and then she ults and does like guarantees crits and does a lot of damage, but it's not, you know, worth it because she doesn't deal a shit ton of damage. But she's another character, right? Chishia does not give a shit about crit rate, funnily enough, because a lot of her shit automatically at higher sequences auto crits. Boom boom auto crits. That's most of her damage. Yeah, boom boom auto critting is a lot of her damage. She likes her ult though, so like you want some crit rate, but you don't need a shit ton. You really like crit damage on her a little bit, like instead of a 1-2, possibly a 1-3 ratio on Chishia. So if you have 50% crit rate, you might want close to 300% crit damage, right? So you can go down a bit on the crit rate and be at 250% crit damage, and that's like still technically better for her because her boom boom always crits. And then another character that benefits very highly from that kind of you want to crit even if you lose some crit damage. Could argue Havoc Rover just because we get S6 guaranteed, which is better. Gives her a little bit more leeway so you get more crit damage, but it's mostly Jinshi and Taoshi. Attack percent weapon can be better for her. For Chishia, I'd say no. For Taoshi, yeah, that's why like her best weapon for her own damage output is the Dauntless Evernight, because the defense stat that she scales off of, although diminishing returns, holy hell, right? I use the Discord on her now because as a support for Jinshi, her rotation's quicker at a S or R4. I thought this was R5. R4 Discord. Meh. Because she needs to hit her Concerto gauge, and it's very slow for Tashi, unfortunately, because we don't have a Concerto generation Echo set, which is annoying as hell. And we should, because it'd make Taoshi very, very, very good. But, and then the energy regen's nice too, and she doesn't scale off of attack, so it doesn't matter. But she would do the Dauntless Evernight, and it is better for her than like this, because yeah, crit damage, attribute damage bonus. She doesn't give a shit about the attack. And her sequence that gives her 20% of both crit stats, 20% crit rate and crit damage, pretty much makes it to where any crit weapon doesn't matter. Like a crit rate weapon could be arguably good, but you don't need it. You can, because of this, it's like she's holding a crit rate weapon off rip for her ult. Build her crit damage up with a crit damage, you know, boss echo and some other shit, and she does good damage. Like calculating it out, she does really good damage. Less now than she did in the betas, because in the betas it all like the math was different. Upon release, it's additive, not multiplicative, so is what it is. But she does pretty solid damage with her ult. Has really shit scaling though, to like it's like 480% at level 10. If that scaling was higher, I would still use her to this day as my hot swap like ult DPS character, and I still like her for that as like my support that still deals damage. and outros for like she's going to be on my Changli team. She's on the Moonlit set. I'm gonna give her a Heron instead of a Geoshalone. This piece kind of sucks ass anyways. It was okay for her because crit damage defense, but it's pretty bad. Defense, energy regen, crit rate, ult damage bonus. This piece is beautiful for her. You know, crit damage, defense, crit rate. Beautiful piece for her. Defense, energy regen. Could be looking good so far. Crit rate, defense, ult. Looking good so far. I just need a Heron, honestly. Like a crit rate or crit damage Heron. And like more substat rolls. What one's missing crit rate substats? That one's got it. Hella low roll. Jesus Christ. 2. I'm missing it on this piece and this piece. So I could have another 14% crit rate on top of what she has right now, which would damn near offset switching her to a crit damage piece, but I would also like crit damage rolls as well. I can get her up to about 250% crit damage and 65% crit rate before ulting. Bring it to like 85. I could bring her up to almost like a 90, 250 if I really min-maxed her echoes. But it still doesn't matter because her damage output just isn't good enough. Her ult scales half as good as most other DPSs. Like Sanhwa's, for example, it's half as good. But her defense can also be twice as high. So there's an argument there that she's actually like as strong as Sanhwa for burst damage output. And she kind of is, but Sanhwa also is a relatively weak damage dealer. She's good to be fast and for energy regen, which is her, you know, what's good for her and her outro. Taoshi, on the other hand, outro's so much slower and is just a lot slower on rotation that unfortunately she's in the same seat as Sanhwa, but can't do it quick enough. But she's like the other character basically that would want a higher crit rate than crit damage ratio for the most part. Am I out of energy? I think I am. Yep. Calcharo liking attack set is very weird. He has a crit rate weapon, so I'd like to run crit damage piece, but it's a low crit rate weapon. Well, no, because I'm gonna get the attack percent weapon for him, so he for sure wants to run crit rate. Because his crit rate's gonna be like non-existent. I want to run him on attack set. Electro set's good and all. Attack set is just better for how I play Calcharo. Because I play him on field so that Yinlin's outro buff can stick. So I had a build before, but it was so fucking ass. This piece ain't shit. This piece is beautiful so far. So eventually I'll get an Electro DPS that I want Moonlit set on. Eventually Yinlin will be that, I think, but I'm not certain. No Electro damage bonus, huh? He's gonna need that for sure. But I'll build Calcharo eventually too. Shang Liao does not interest me. I'm gonna get him for free, and he's gonna sit in my account at level 1 for like ever. I don't know. He seems really boring. I don't have a good gauntlet for him. I have good swords for Calcharo, and I will get a better sword for him too. Which I could get a better weapon for Shang Liao, but I don't give a shit. Unfortunately, because I think Calcharo is cooler. Zhang Liao is like kind of cool. He's like Iron Man-esque stuff, but I'm gonna wait to build him because I think Calcharo is gonna be. I think he's just way cooler looking. But he's gonna be like my last DPS to build because I got Shangli. She's gonna be built immediately. Gonna be the best character on my account. And then it's like Yinlin, Electro DPS. She'll go to 80. I have Rover at 80. Jinshi will go to 80, and Jian will go to 80, and then finally it'll be Calcharo. And then probably Danjin, and then straight up because I'm weird, I might do Tashi. I really like this character. She's been my favorite since I got her and since I like started the game. I want to make this character like actually good. One of these days, I swear to God, if they make a Concerto generation buffing Echo set, we're in business. We're in so much business with her. She's gonna be such a broken like sub DPS support. Too much to do, too limited resources. You need to limit the number of invested characters to actually build correct teams for TOA. The second team does not push enough damage on 2 and 3rd floor left side. I haven't tried to write one yet. Yes, that is... So I had a video that came out that talked about, like, should you have a main, right? And the reasoning being, because especially as early as we are, it's like you have such limited resources to clear content both faster for farming as well as clearing higher content in the TOA to get more rewards. It's better to have, like, 2 characters you focus on to start. Yeah, it is for sure better to hyper focus 2 characters. I mean, I got Yinlin, hyper focused Yinlin. Yinlin has quite literally carried my account since I got her. Because before that it was like whatever, it's early game, Taoshi clears everything, it's fine. As the enemies scaled past what Taoshi can handle, Yinlin carried so much weight. Then it was like, okay, Yinlin's got good damage. I need another DPS on the other side. And then I had Jian, built Jian a little bit. And then I had Kalcharo, built Kalcharo a little bit. I had Encore, built Encore a little bit. Had Danjin, built Danjin a little bit. Had Rover, built Rover a little bit. And it was like, son of a bitch, none of these characters do what I want them to do. Oh no shit, they're nowhere near the investment of Yinlin. They're nowhere near the stats of Yinlin. Yinlin's crit rate used to be like 65. I re-rolled a one cost echo and it turned to shit. So I still need to do that. Ignore this. This was like 65%. It was better. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to get Jinshi because she's really fun in the roguelike mode. And then I just liked her. And then she was really strong for kind of not a lot of investment. And then I built Jinshi. And Jinshi doesn't fucking do what I need her to do. Because the team that she wants Yinlin, which pisses me off. So I need another DPS. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to build a Havoc set because I'm going to build Danjin. And then I built a Havoc set and it turned into this, which it's not a lot of crit rate. I have a good weapon. But I got like this piece, you know, I got some of these pieces, not this one, not this one yet either, but this piece, and this piece. And I was like, okay, you know what? Rover. Because I'm just gonna, this is the best character, I think, long-term investment to build. Because A, Havoc Rover is really strong. B, at S6, she gets, like, drastically better. And C, she will get all the other elements in the future. Broken character to build. So I invested into her. I was like, oh my god, wait, she's so strong. And look at her stats. She's very, very strong. And now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait and get Changli. And now Changli will be Changli's going to be a one-man army, and my Changli's going to clear the middle boss floors on the TOA. Unless they put Inferno Rider in there when Changli comes out, in which case they're a bunch of assholes. Because as of current bosses, they don't resist Changli. If Inferno Riders are in there, Inferno Rider is going to resist Changli, and that's going to suck. I'll be able to clear it, it's just going to not be 3 stars. But Changli should be able to solo clear both bosses 3 stars. With my build, right? Rover will be my DPS on one side, and Yinlin will be my DPS on the other side. Pretty much is how my account's going to go. And then I will have Jinshi next as a DPS, and she will use Yinlin and work together to be by far my best team. Changli, my best character. These two, my best team. And then, honestly, Rover doesn't have great supports right now is the unfortunate thing. Like, everyone wants to fight over Jeji because Taoshi is so bad. But I'll probably do like Rover with Jianshin. I don't know, Jianshin and Yang Yang, and not even build them. Just use them for grouping and just have Rover be hyper invested. And or build Danjin, do like double Dreamless with Jianshin at some point. Whatever, like whatever I need to do is like, I don't know what to do with like her team. There's not a lot of great, like, there's no Havoc sub DPS is the issue. But it'll be like Jinshi, Yinlin, Changli, possibly with Taoshi just for the shield and a little bit of skill outro once in a while. And then Rover because I have her built. And I'll do Gion, right? Like I will build my Gion. It's just he'll be after Jinshi and Changli and the rest of Yinlin. And it's like it's gonna be a minute before he's strong enough. I mean, his weapon makes him great. And at level 60, his stat, like he was probably my strongest level 60 character till Jinshi, just because Jinshi is Jinshi has to be strong because she has no fucking support. Otherwise, Gion's like my best character if I built him on my account. Until Zhengli comes out, who I think is going to be stronger than everybody, and then Zheji comes out and makes Jinshi the best team. Because Zheji's just that good of a support for her, it sounds like. But we'll see if it can compete with my Changli, because my Changli's going to be pretty damn broken. Plus, if we get a fusion sub DPS, Changli will be better. If we get an arrow sub DPS, Gion will be better. If we get, you know, an electro DPS, aka I build Kulcharo, Yinlin gets better, and Kulcharo's good. It's a lot about team building at the moment, for like clearing stuff. Team building at the high end, sure, but then it's like right now, most of the people clearing TOA and the middle are just hyper investing in a lot of these 4-stars. Like, I'm not even kidding. Chisha clears everything. Rover clears everything. And who's the other one that people were like just building to clear shit? Danjin. Danjin solo clears the middle towers. You get 1 star for clearing it. You're not doing it fast, right? Chishia could do it fast and is probably better suited for that too. And then you also get your like 2 free 5-stars. And it's like Jianshin DPS does pretty goddamn good. Kulcharo might actually be the worst pickup from that, unfortunately. Verena supports the teams in the middle or any of the boss stages with Baizha outside, Verena inside. You have your support. Encore clears everything. I mean, you just hyper invest into like 2 characters. Really is all it is. My personal vote, my personal opinion on how a player would optimize their account is pick like 2 characters, one of which being probably Rover, just because you're always going to want her built going into the future. Build Rover and 1, possibly another character for 3. Build 3 characters, no one else even fucking matters. I mean, literally, Verena could be level 1 and would still work. She just needs energy regen, so you just need the weapon leveled a bit, and some 3 cost echoes and a full healing set. She needs to be level 1. She does not matter. Her level does not matter. Neither does Baizha's, right? And as far as your sub DPSs go, it's like I mean, Yinlin you build because Yinlin's broken, but Yinlin doesn't need levels to do her outro, particularly if you're running her with like Kulcharo or Zheng Liao. Sanhua does not need levels at all. It helps. The sub DPS damage is nice. Verena's healing does not like high attack. Okay. I'm gonna disprove a point because I've got a friend who I actually talked this to because he had like 1800 attack on his Verena. And we dropped that attack down to about 900, switching from, I believe it was a Jinzhou Keeper to a variation. Actually, he didn't have a variation. We went to the Rectifier of Voyager. Even worse, right? Because he needed the energy regen. He also had attack percent, 3 cost echoes. We put those to energy regen. So he lost a total of almost 100% attack from the base attack stat. Lost 100 healing. Lost 100 healing per bar. Because the way it scales. Oh, my audio is. Is my audio okay? No, my audio's fucked up. Some little bitch hasn't done this to me in a while. There we go. The thing with her healing is it is 875 flat plus 17% of her attack. And this scales like this. So at level 4, for example, it's 1,000 plus 20% of her attack. 1,000 plus 20% of her attack If she has 2,000 attack, it's 400 extra. If she has 1,000 attack, it's 200 extra. For how much HP characters have in the game, it's not that big of a difference, right? 200 more health healed for 1,000 attack difference. Okay, now at 500 attack, it's only 100 extra, but I drop from 1,000 to 500 attack. I get that much more energy regen. It's so much more worth it. Outro healing. 20% of her attack per second for 6 seconds. But that's not why you're using her outro. Her outro, she's, okay, Verina's not a healer. She heals as a bonus, but she is a 15% damage amp with a little bit of healing baked into her kit just to get this 20% attack increase. You're 20% attack, 15% damage amp with some healing, right? Most of her healing comes from healing bonus anyways. Like straight up looking at her echoes. 10% healing bonus brings that 1,000 base to 1,100. And instead of 20% per second for 6 seconds, so it's like 100% of her attack. It's like, okay, sure. You could heal for 500, you could heal for 1,000, or you could heal for 2,000. But what are the trade-offs? And the trade-offs are you are losing a bunch of energy regen. Because realistically, a properly built Verina is going to have this weapon maxed out for like however much this maxes out at. I'm assuming close to like 40% energy regen ish, around there, as well as a healing bonus, energy regen, which I believe these end up being about 30% as well each, so that's 60 total. Healing bonus, so you get more of the heals, because that is nice with, you know, your attack percents here. And energy regen stat on everything for like another 50%, so that, because she actually wants, like, ideally properly maximally built, wants like 250% energy regen. You want to click E and have everyone's ultimates like up and ready to go instantaneously. And the reason why is because her ultimate takes so goddamn long to charge. It's 175 cost. It's very expensive. So she needs a lot more for how she literally has a 2-second on-field time if you're able to intro cancel into her ult. You want to basically be able to charge her ult again to be able to intro cancel into her ult yet again the next rotation. And if you do a longer rotation, you still want a shit ton. You need the energy regen where she spends so much more time on field that you're losing so much team damage that it's not worth building it for more heals. If you wanted to talk heals, even Baizha doesn't do a great job of healing. Straight up, like, heals are not amazing in this game. They're important, don't get me wrong, but they're not amazing. We get more healing bonus, you'd have a healing bonus, everything. Attack boost. Damage amp. Damage amp that also switches between characters, I believe. Because the healed resonator, it might just be the incoming, and I don't think it actually hops between, but it amps for technically 6 seconds longer than Verina for the same amount of amp while healing based off of percentage HP every 3 seconds. So 10 procs of this, 1.5, so it's 3 times 5 procs is 15% of her HP. Her HP at, max built is going to be drastically higher. So 15% of her HP is going to be a lot higher than a 2,000 attack Verina doing 120% of it. Right? Because 120, that's, it's going to be 2,400 healing. Whereas 15%, we'll round up to 20%, then drops a quarter of it. 20% of what could pretty easily be like 30,000 HP. Properly built. Go with 30,000 HP, you get a fifth of that. Every 10,000, a fifth of it's going to be 2,000, 6,000. And then drop a quarter of that, so 4,500 heals. With energy regen, you just build HP and healing bonus and level her and get these. And her sequence gives more healing bonus, and it gives more HP, and like she's going to heal 5 times the amount of Verena while still giving the exact same damage amp, 5% less of an attack boost, and it's slightly a pain in the ass because you have to literally walk over top of the boost. But it lasts for the same amount of time, basically. And she's more flexible on rotation somewhat, because you could use her skill, drop the Euphoria, last for 15 seconds, do another character's thing in like Jinshi's team, do Yanwu for a minute to charge Jinshi up, go back to Baizha, attack a few times, get her Concerto up, outro into Jinshi. Jinshi then picks up the Euphoria that's lasted there for 15 seconds, gets another 20 seconds of 15% attack boost. Her skill heals in the background for less than Verena heals, but it's safer because it's her skill. You're not having to go into the air. Plus it's percentage HP, and her HP is scaling massively without getting in the way of her energy regen because she's just a bulky character. I mean, she's more healing if you do her heavy attack for every like tick of the heavy hits. She gets more healing here by consuming concentration, as well as at S1 she gets more energy regen. Her ultimate heals more. Her ultimate heals quite a lot, as well as dealing a little bit of extra damage based on her HP, 2% of her HP for what is 4 hits, 6 hits if you go to S4. The healing increases by 20% of the multiplier of it increases by 20%. And the multiplier is pretty low, so that's a lot. Extra damage as well, so 3.2% times 6. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 is about 20% of her HP. So again, dealing 6,000 damage maybe at max build. Honestly, the only reason Verena's even better than Baizha is simply because Baizha's a slightly slower rotation. I think Baizha's a better character. Obviously, like when you start talking about sequences, it's like, okay, S1 is massive because the outro now does grants the next character continues healing effect, recovering HP by 20% of it by 5 seconds every 30 seconds. So you get another 6 procs of 20% healing off of her attack, right? On top of what the outro is. So doubling the outro healing, basically, which catches her outro up a little bit to what Baizha can do. Her skill gets another photosynthesis energy and 10 Concerto, which just makes her rotation that much fucking faster and more heals. Yeah, S1's very good. The healing is increased by 12%. You know, spectro damage bonus increase, which makes her even better for Jinshi, right? Healing increased if your teammate's less than half, and she deal 20% more damage. They trigger a coordinated attack 1 time and heal all characters nearby. The damage of the coordinated attack and healing are equal to the Resonance Liberation's photosynthesis mark. So she ults every time she does her heavy in midair. Which, like, this is kind of a lot. Like, for Jinshi, this makes her rotation even better. She's just like, she's Jinshi's best support, and she will eventually get outclassed as new healers come out. She will say, though, the best Spectro team support. And Baizha is the best Glacio team support at higher sequence levels, because you look at her, more resonance energy, you get another 10 resonance energy. More Glacio, she gets Glacio damage bonus and healing bonus. So her skill hits a little harder because her skill also deals damage based off of HP. Her HP scales up. Her ult gets drastically stronger. She gets the revive mechanic. Verena gets in her talent. And when Euphonia's picked up Glacio damage bonus of all characters nearby, gets 12% boost. So she's the best Glacio healer. So what? Yeah, for sure. In 2 years, most players that play consistently will have most of the standard characters maxed out. If Kuro Games is as generous as they are, but like universally, Verena's only better because she's a faster rotation. The second we get a better generalized healer, Verena will become completely insignificant yet again. Just like Baija is currently, other than being that second option, Baija becomes even more insignificant, except Baija is the best A, healer. If you want heals, you use Baija, not Verena. B, Glacio buffs. She gives better Glacio buffs. So the way like Punishing Gray Raven works, right? We can think about it like this. Punishing Gray Raven works where you have your healer that buffs your attribute, your sub DPS slash tank, basic tank or amplifier. No. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna change what I just said. Support buffs you and heals or shields. Amplifier buffs the shit out of you. Okay, we'll get that there. Boom. Your amplifier buffs the shit out of you. Then you have your tank, which defense shreds the enemy or resistance shreds the enemy, pretty much. Then you have your DPS, and that is your team. Your tank shreds, your support buffs, then you go into your DPS and you go nuts. In this game, we are eventually going to get into that, but similar to the beginning of PGR, we're not there yet. The beginning of PGR only had like 2 healer supports. It was like the 2 lives, basically, were kind of the only characters. So you used them in your teams. And then eventually healers, like supports came out for every attribute. And generalistic healers, in fact, became practically unusable in like higher end teams, right? Properly built min-max teams. Generalized healers did not exist because the specific ones mattered. And Baija is specifically like, if Zheji can be played like Yinlin can, where like she could basically be a main DPS, Baija's the best support on that team. In fact, if Zheji's damage output contends a little bit for the team damage percentage in the team with Jinshi, Baija might be the better support for that team. It could be possible. Probably not, but it could be, right? But once we get a main Glacio damage dealer, I'm assuming they're going to be a pistol character, ice bullets, maybe a sniper. That would be cool, right? Baija would be the best. At S6, she is the best, and it's easy to S6 4-star characters over time, especially if you use your Rainbow Coral as they come into the shop. Like, by that time, we will have high sequence level 4-star characters. So Baija is going to be the best Glacio support for a long time until we get better Baija. And Verena is going to be the best Spectro support until we get better Verena, which might not happen. Honestly, Verena might just be the best Spectro support for a long time because that'll probably be the last one to be replaced because she's a 5-star. There will be a better Glacio support come out before a better Spectro support comes out. Unless the difference is that Glacio and Spectro support are ampers, where they do not heal at all. And they just amp drastically more damage. And that's where you have to get into like the safety of teams. In PGR, it's kind of a just get good and then use ampers, because the supports generally do worse than the ampers for the teams that have them, other than like the fire team, which A, doesn't have an amper, B, Live Imperia's nuts, right? But for the electric team, the amper is better. For the dark team, the amper is competitive. Technically better at a higher investment, but the support at like, because it's a 4-star essentially in that game, and the amper's 5-star, that the 4-star is better at higher investment levels compared to like a fresh 5-star amper. But if you get a bunch of dupes with the 5-star amper, she gets drastically better for the team, right? And then the physical team, I believe, is going the same route as well in the coming out soon. I'm trying to think what the other attributes are. Light? Was there light? No. Physical, dark, electric, fire. There's 2 more. There's 3 main elements and 3 like sub elements. There was physical, dark. I want to say it was light, but I don't think that that was actually an archetype in that game. I don't know. I don't remember, but like they're all very specialized. That's where we're going to get in this game at some point. Other thing too, they came out with newer versions of old characters. So we could see like 5-star Baizhi. Whoo, that would be cool. 5-star Baizhi would be dope. Actually seeing 5-star versions of some of the 4 stars would be cool. I think Baizhi Chixia are 2 very good options for that. They get 5-star variations, as well as eventually these ones in the future get like augments, another tab like PGR has, where you put a shit ton of high-end resources into them and certain skills get a big boost. Like maybe Baizhi's basic attack scales off HP, right? Which would make her really good, first of all. But and then like her ult or her skill sends out the silver owls or whatever, like the roguelike mode does, which is also why they're doing the roguelike mode. They've mentioned before that the roguelike mode is to also test to see if changes need to be made to characters in the future to keep them on par. Because they like power creeping, but they like keeping old characters up, which I really appreciate Kuro Games for. Because like, unlike in Genshin Impact, where there was a few like overtuned old characters, and then a lot of the rest sucked over time. I mean, Venti, for example, got power crept. A 5-star basically got power crept by Sayu and Kazuha, right? Like, not Sayu, Sucrose. Not Sayu. Sucrose and Kazuha basically did Venti's job better because it was not tied to their ult. And then Kazuha, who I believe was tied to their ult, was just better. Drastically better. But Sucrose could do it on her skill, so she had much quicker rotation, so she was better. So, you know, there's difference. Yeah, no. Kuro Games, like, that's what they do. It will take a while, right? Like, these characters will get power crept for a long time. But then eventually they will come out with augments that'll bring them up. And I think they'll do better with this game too, because it's like you're playing the character more often and it's a little more gacha heavy. Like Kuro Games, you can free to play every single character in that game. That matters. Every good character you can free to play your way to if you just play every day. In this game, you're not going to quite be able to do that. You will have to skip some banners. And a lot of the 4 stars will eventually get power crept by 5 stars, but it's like they will probably do augments because that's what the roguelike mode basically does. Or end game modes also having tweaks that they do to some characters. So in the overworld, they might still be weaker, but in the Tower of Adversity, maybe they get some buffs. But realistic, it's like in PGR though, a lot of the income for resources comes from competing with other players on like weekly stages and trying to be in the higher percentile of players to get more rewards. This game doesn't have that yet. I hope they do, because oh my god, that would be sick. I want my Changli to be the #1 Changli in the goddamn world. But if they don't do it, they might not augment characters like that, because similar to Genshin, it's like, whatever, right? But if they do that, which I pray that they do, they could do like guild, not guild battles, but like raid bosses that like multiplayer co-op type shit, multiplayer co-op raid boss events and shit like that. Like they could do events, they could do another weekly thing. Like there's a lot that they can do. PGR starting out didn't have a lot of that shit either, but there's a lot that they could do. And if they do start doing that where players get to compete with each other, it is 100% certain that they will augment some of the older 4 stars to like help keep up with the meta 5 stars, just because it's like options for players, even though you can get all the meta 5 stars for free basically in Kuro Games PGR. It's this game, because it's being different, they might take a even more forward stance on it. I would love to see it. Like Baizhi, basic attack scales off HP, sold, right? Chixia, if you want to make Chixia really strong, every Daka turns into a boom boom. She just starts spamming those fuckers out there. That would make her the best DPS in the game. As of right now, that'd make her the best DPS in the game. That'd be a really strong boost. Probably not, but like after her skill dashes, she shoots a boom boom. That might not be a bad nerd, like buff to her. Yang on her when she ground slams and does the anime slash, that has better, like way better scaling or something. Yanwu, his basic scale off defense that would fix him immediately. Alto, his midair shots duplicate another 2 times, and it's like, okay, cool. So he shoots 5 instead of 3 through a mist or whatever. More damage increase, right? Junshin, um, her basics are better or something, you know. Taoshi's ult has higher scalings. Like, that's all Taoshi really wants, is just higher scalings on her ult. Mortefi actually is kind of hard to think of because he's a really, really good character right now. Maybe if you ult with max forte gauge, it does better bullets, right? Sanhua makes more ice crystals to detonate when she does shit. Danjin also kind of being difficult. Honestly, a lot of hers is probably scaling. A lot of her buffs would be scaling, or maybe her basic attacks and skill. Maybe her basic attacks also generate the rows, like her forte circuit, in which case then she just gets her heavy up a lot faster. Or like maybe her skills count as heavy damage so that it's like she's a heavy damage unit, which works even better with Mortefi, and Mortefi S1 spams bullets doing with Danjin as well. So like makes Danjin better for like a heavy damage dealer. Who knows? Encore, when she blows up, her scalings are higher, and or her skill gets better, and or whatever happens. Gion, I mean, now we're talking about like limited characters getting the bonuses, which are I don't think PGR has done it for limited characters yet. Because the limited characters tend to serve a pretty unique niche. Like PGR has done a very good job at keeping them very unique. So, like realistically, these characters wouldn't really be changed, but we see it in the roguelike mode. Like we see what they could do. His skill lets you do a ult attack right afterwards. That would be very cool for him. To make his skill not completely damn near useless other than to parry. Calcharo could, when in ult, spawn a phantom so he hits for double the amount of hits because the phantom also hits with him or some shenanigans. I don't fucking know. Maybe he's just safer when he ults so that he can just unga bunga and get the max damage output. That'd make him good. Jinshi's, I don't want to buff her skill or heavy because that'd be ridiculous, but like maybe her basics and her other skills leading into her big skill and her big ultimate have like incandescent charging, right? Maybe they charge incandescence so she can be a little bit better of a solo DPS. Verena maybe buffs more. It's like you know, I don't know. Maybe her outro gets better and buffs like all damage output and attack percent. Like deepen. You never know. Yinlin, shit, this character is actually really good. Her plunge attack causes a punishment mark lightning strike to hit the enemy as well. That'd be cool. Her punishment attack or her plunge attack scales really high. And then like Rover is like whatever, Rover shenanigans. Woover's gonna eat a lot of your time. Characters are so diverse, you want to build and play them all. Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen this guy on YouTube. He's built a DPS Verena and a DPS Baisha, and I respect him for it. I would love to. I just don't want to. I don't want Baisha to be a DPS. Like, she's an amazing DPS in the roguelike mode, first of all. She's probably, like, the most consistently strong and best character in that mode. But I do not want to build her externally from that as a DPS. I like her being a healer, and she's pretty, and she's supposed to be a healer, and that's her goal. That's her job on my team. I don't need her to be a DPS. It's, like, weird too, because it's basically like I'm building the little Pokemon she sends out as a DPS, and she's just consistently not as good as if I just built her as a healer and the Pokemon like kept her to be like she feels better as a healer. Basically, you know. Um, I think that's everything for Wua. Am I crazy? What is this? I've never done this before. I think that's a side quest. Yeah, I gotta do some side quests. I have so many astrites I can farm. Like if I'm tight for Changli, the world exploration I could do, I get like another at least 20 pulls out of world exploration, as well as whatchamacallit, questing, because I've done like no quests. I've done no quests. I've done no quests. I could be so much further if I did those. Anyways, let's see. So it's that time. It's video time. Video time. Video time. Okay. Changli is getting buffed before she comes out in about 4 days. We got from the CN test server a couple changes that they are making to the game for this next update. And this is going to be absolutely hype as hell. Let's go over the 2 buffs Changli got, as well as some buffs that the game is getting. First off, we are getting her ultimate cost reduced from 150 to 125. And the weapon's buff duration from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. This does 2 things. A, makes her weapon that much better versus the Emerald of Genesis, which apparently was so good on her that her weapon was like not worth pulling for a while. They keep buffing her weapon for this. Having the ult cost go down means you do not need Emerald of Genesis's energy regen rate, and you prefer her signature weapon's attack percent that you get out of the passive. Also, she needs less energy regen anyways, which just means she's going to have a more consistent rotation, and you could allocate those substats for more attack substats. Her weapon getting the 2-second boost. Most people would like it to be at 15 seconds, not 12, but 12 is still better than 10, and 10 was tight. If you had to dodge it all, her optimal rotation, you'd pretty much lose it. You'd lose the buff from the sword. At 12 seconds, you can dodge a couple times, have to move around a little bit, and still be able to get it comfortably enough, right? So that's a very good change for the comfortability of the weapon. Some of the other changes that are going on as well in this big old wall of text, we're going to be getting 120 frames per second, a wave plate storage system of sorts, multiple enemy detection system. I do not know what this exactly means. New exploration tools. Don't know exactly what this is going to be about either. Optimization for mobile interface and system, and some other ones. This 120 FPS change is speculated to be based on the new DLSS 3.0 coming into the game for RTX 40 series graphics cards. So most of us are probably not going to get to play at 120 FPS, but for those of us who can, it's going to be a nice little change. Waveplate storage, huge. Not for me, because I play every day, but huge for everybody else, right? Waveplate storage, if they do it the same as Honkai Star Rail, that is going to be actually absolutely amazing for players who maybe can't get to it for a week. Maybe they go on vacation or something. You never know, right? It's going to be a very nice quality of life change. Multiple enemy detection system. I can only imagine that that is like being able to farm mobs across the overworld easier, right? So it like shows all of them on the overworld, and you just walk around and kill them. Or maybe you can detect multiple at once, so you can do pathing without having to Google it. I'm assuming that that's what this is going to be. Actually, is it's going to be you can search for all the 3-cost enemies that you need to farm for a certain element, or 1 cost or whatever, and they're all going to populate the map. I'm assuming is what it's going to be. This is probably going to be in tandem with the the map websites that they do, the interactive maps, right? Probably in tandem with that. New exploration tools. I have heard of this actually on second thought. For Changli's quest as part of 1.1. It's going to be Act 7.5 probably. Maybe they call it Act 8. I'm not sure. Act 7.5, Act 8, whatever. Changli's quest line, the part of the story for her. We are getting a new ability in the overworld. I believe it is specific to the location. I do not remember exactly what it does off the top of my head. I do remember, though, having the feeling of if this is available in the entire overworld, exploration's broken completely, right? Something about the effect that it has breaks the game if it's able to be external from where it is meant to be used. So we will see what happens with that. I'm assuming, though, it's going to be exclusive to that location. Optimization for mobile, that's always good. Interface, that's always good. And system, that is always good. And etc. etc. I am assuming is just like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are specifying each of these things. Yeah, so we get 1 is probably like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like some change. So that's probably most of the changes that are going to be into here. I have not seen a translated version yet. I tried to look. I have not seen one. And I don't know how to make my computer do it. Unfortunately, I need to learn because there's a lot of stuff in Chinese. I might as well just learn Chinese at this point. Another thing that has been coming up, this being a small thing to end the video pretty much because we got the Changli buffs. Changli buffs are very nice. Another thing that people have been labbing for Changli is a 44111 set with Jue as the boss piece. This is something I wanted to do for Danjin, but then because of how they changed it, it did not work for Danjin anymore. 221 with Jue for fusion and attack set. You get 10% fusion, 10% attack, and 16% skill damage bonus from Jue on the 44111 set, which brings it very close in damage to 43311 without needing to deal with Inferno transformation, so you get a shorter rotation. This being only really useful if you have her signature for that 56% damage bonus for the skill to dilute the fusion damage percent loss. So for those of you who have her main weapon as well as a good Jue piece for Yujinshi or just in general, you could run a Jue piece as a boss piece and do 44111. This way, as they said, instead of transforming into Inferno Rider, you get skill damage bonus and the dragon just goes blah, 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 and then also does some of that burn damage over time. So you're getting a little bit of Spectro damage, not a lot. It really doesn't matter. That damage doesn't really matter. But you are getting the skill damage bonus from using Jue, which happens instantaneously. 10% attack, 10% fusion, as well as just a shorter rotation. Shorter rotation possibly being good for the fact that now we are at 12-second duration on her weapon. So it could be actually, it could enable us some more rotation options, right? Overall, would I recommend somebody to do this? Probably not, honestly. Like, if you really just have the most broken Jue piece ever on your Jinshi and you're getting Changli, it could be good. I would not recommend anybody doing it, though, because, honestly, it's, like, kind of scuffed. It's kind of scuffed. You still are, with a properly built 43311 build and a properly built 44111 build with the Jue boss piece, the 43311 is still going to deal more damage. It just, with Jue, it closes the gap, right? It brings it close. But bringing it close at minimum investment, which is how most calculations are, like Pridewin is as well, does not do jack shit when you have a lot of really good substats. So I would still stick to 43301, but I just felt that that was something I should bring up browsing the r/Changli main subreddit. So that's going to be it for today's video. I am super excited for Changli. She comes out in like 4 days from this video getting posted. The amount of content I'm going to make for her is going to be insane. I'm so hype. I cannot wait to show you guys all that I have to bring to the table. If you want to watch these live, twitch.tv/Cashy Swanson. I'll see you guys in the next video.